Welcome back, Presidente. It's time for your new term in office. Our island, its population, and all of its natural resources are ready to be placed under the firm guiding hand of your glorious leadership. Now, I know there are detractors who might criticize us for our lack of housing or elections or civil liberties. But as Presidente, you need not concern yourself with the sobbing of the masses. Why, it is your sworn duty to advance our island's agriculture, industry, and tourism, leading us all into a bright, new tomorrow of wealth for some and prosperity for all. Viva Tropico! Tropico 3 is a management game where you take the role of a president of a small Caribbean island nation, where your goal is to build up your economy and satisfy the needs of your population. Most of the gameplay revolves around you selecting the blueprints for various buildings and then deciding where and how to place them on the island. Once a building is constructed, you can further micromanage it, deciding how much to pay the workers or how much to spend on maintenance, as well as what kind of crops or resources that the building will harvest. When it comes to interacting with your population, most of the time you'll be checking the game's various charts and graphs in order to determine their desires, and whether or not they need more healthcare or entertainment or religious access. You also have the option of issuing island-wide edicts, each one with a different possible result. You might reduce pollution, or increase literacy, or crack down on dissidents if things are going poorly. You also have the option to zoom in and check on individual citizens and see what their wants and desires are, which can be helpful if you need to take a more direct approach. Now, if there's a good thing about Tropico 3, it's that the game has a lot of variety. There are many different ways to get your economy rolling, and victory typically requires you to take advantage of your island's specific natural resources. You can choose to specialize in agriculture, which is easy to set up but requires a large population. You might choose to go into industry, which has higher profits but also produces a lot more pollution. You might even choose to tap into tourism, which requires you to take extra steps in order to ensure your island's natural beauty. Or if you're feeling adventurous and have a lot of extra cash lying around, you can try to work all three into the same island. There are plenty of different factions and different ways to build your island and its economy, and keeping everybody happy is one of the game's big challenges. If I had a criticism of Tropico 3, it'd be that the game's kind of, loose, I suppose might be the word for it. I suppose that basically I would say that if you compared the game to its contemporaries, it doesn't have a lot of strict mechanics that clearly and reliably reward proper planning. For instance, a good example might be the roads in Tropico 3. In this game, you're not required to have a sprawling interconnected road system. In fact, if you don't have them, your citizens will literally just walk to whatever their destination is. But then, once you build roads, they don't provide you with any advantage until you start building garages as well. Because once you have a garage, your people will be able to rent cars to take them to their destination, at which point they will get out and the car will leave. Because a garage will only transport a person to their destination and not back. So if you want to actually have a reliable logistical network of roads and cars, you need to basically leapfrog garages across your entire island. Because otherwise your people will drive to a destination and then be trapped there and have to walk all the way back. Also, I don't know what kind of suspension they're using in Tropico, but it must be amazing! I mean, look at these cars, they're climbing a 75-degree ramp! Holy hell! Another example might be how every level starts the same. That as soon as you begin a new map, that the first thing that happens is your country spirals into debt and unhappiness. because the game never, ever provides you with the starting resources to meet your citizens' needs. And I'm not even talking about eclectic political faction needs like newspapers or military bases or statues. No, I'm talking about basic services. You will hardly have the cash to hire a doctor, and that's something that every island needs just to make sure that even your small population doesn't die. But probably the best example is the edicts system. That, as mentioned before, edicts are island-wide commands you can issue in order to improve or restrict certain features of your society. Now, despite the fact that there are a large variety of edicts to issue, the value of the individual edicts themselves varies wildly. Some of them, such as literacy or pollution standards, are clearly valuable in every scenario. Others are extremely contextual. For instance, the papal visit or military modernization. Meanwhile, the rest are next to useless or occasionally even detrimental. As example, there's no reason to start a book burning in order to please the religious faction when you can just build another church and have the exact same effect. And this is kind of what I was talking about, that you have this entire system of edicts that most of the time are so unclear and so unreliable that you probably won't even use them. Ultimately, I would say that Tropico 3 is not a bad game, but it is a tricky one to get used to. The looseness of its systems mean that it takes some trial and error in order to finally understand which choices are meaningful and valuable for you as the player. I'd give Tropico 3 2 out of 4 stars. It's an average management game, and it does provide a lot of variety and choice when it comes to building your own personal tropical paradise. But I might not recommend it to anybody who's looking for a more challenging, higher level management game. Alright, thanks for listening. Now if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna dip into my cookie jar and enjoy the sweet life on my own personal tropical island. Viva Tropico, friends! Another beautiful day on my tropical island. Not a care in the... Wait a minute. What the hell is that? Wait a minute. That kid... There's no way that... Aw, this is some crap right here. Summon my secret police. We have business to attend to.